Men, when a woman is meeting another man, she rarely says the truth outright. Female psychology shows us that cheaters rely on the same tired excuses to cover their tracks, phrases designed to sound innocent while hiding betrayal. Today, I'll expose 6 excuses women use when they're meeting another man. These aren't random lies. They're carefully calculated excuses that exploit your trust, your respect for her independence, and your desire to be a supportive partner. Each excuse is designed to sound so reasonable that questioning it makes you look controlling or paranoid. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell if you want to protect yourself from deception. Comment below if you've ever heard one of these excuses. It might save another man from being blindsided. Share this video with someone who needs to see these red flags. Let's break down these 6 cover stories and the female psychology behind why they work so effectively on masculine trust. Excuse 1. It's just a girl's night. This is the classic cover-up that every cheating woman has used at least once. When she's planning to meet another man, she positions it as a harmless night out with female friends. Dinner, drinks, dancing, catching up on life. The psychology behind this excuse is brilliant because it exploits several masculine tendencies. First, most men respect female friendships and don't want to interfere with their wife's social life. Second, questioning a girl's night makes you look insecure and controlling. Third, group activities feel inherently innocent and unquestionable. Here's how this excuse typically sounds. The girls and I are going out tonight. We haven't seen each other in forever, and Jessica just got promoted, so we're celebrating. Don't wait up. You know how we get when we're all together. Notice the details? She mentions specific friends, gives a reason for the celebration, and sets the expectation that she'll be out late. These details make the lie feel more believable and comprehensive. But here's what's really happening. She's either meeting the other man directly, or she's using the group as cover to slip away during the evening. Maybe she shows up to dinner with the girls, takes some photos for social media proof, then claims she's going to the bathroom, but actually meets him at another location. The female psychology here relies on your reluctance to check up on her or call her friends to verify. She knows you won't text Jessica to ask if they're really celebrating a promotion. She's counting on your trust and your desire to avoid looking like a jealous husband. Pay attention to these warning signs. Does she mention specific friends, but seem vague about the location? Does she dress more carefully than usual for these girls' nights? Is her phone face down all evening, or does she take it to the bathroom with her? Does she come home later than expected, with stories that don't quite add up? A faithful woman having a genuine girls' night would be happy to share details, would answer her phone when you call, and would invite you to pick her up or meet the group briefly. She wouldn't be secretive about locations or defensive about your casual questions. Excuse 2. I have to stay late at work. Work is perhaps the most believable alibi because it's something that happens regularly in most careers. When she's planning to meet another man, she uses her job as the perfect cover story. Deadlines, meetings, projects, conferences, client dinners. The psychology here is positioning herself as responsible, dedicated, and career-focused while hiding secret plans. This excuse works because most men respect their partner's professional commitments and don't want to interfere with career advancement. Here's how this typically sounds. I have to stay late tonight to finish the Henderson report. My boss needs it first thing tomorrow and I'm swamped. I'll probably grab dinner at the office and work until 8 or 9. Don't cook for me. She might even text you throughout the evening with updates. Still working, ordering takeout, almost done. These messages create the illusion that she's at her desk when she's actually at dinner with another man. The female psychology relies on several factors. First, work stress is relatable. Everyone has deadlines and demanding bosses. Second, questioning her work commitments makes you look unsupportive of her career. Third, offices are seen as professional environments where nothing inappropriate would happen. But here's the reality. If she's having an affair, her workplace might be exactly where it started. That demanding boss might be the other man. Or that client dinner might be their romantic rendezvous disguised as business. Watch for these patterns. Is she suddenly working late more frequently, especially on the same days each week? Does she seem unusually dressed up for these late work sessions? Is she vague about specific projects or colleagues? Does she come home seeming energized rather than tired after these long days? Here's a key tell. When someone is genuinely working late, they usually complain about it. They're tired, stressed, and eager to get home. If she seems almost excited about these late work sessions, that's a red flag. A woman who's genuinely working late would be transparent about her projects, might complain about the workload, and would appreciate your support. She wouldn't be defensive if you offered to bring her dinner or pick her up. Excuse 3. I'm going to help a friend. This is perhaps the most emotionally manipulative excuse because it positions her as kind, caring, and supportive while making you look selfish for questioning it. She claims a friend needs help, relationship problems, family crisis, moving apartments, emotional support. The psychology behind this excuse is exploiting your respect for loyalty and friendship. She knows you don't want to prevent her from helping someone in need. Questioning this excuse makes you appear unsympathetic and controlling. Here's how it sounds. Sarah is going through a really tough time with her divorce. She needs someone to talk to, and she specifically asked for me. I'm going to take her to dinner and just listen. She's really struggling, and I can't abandon her right now. Notice how she makes herself indispensable to the friend's well-being. She's positioning herself as the only person who can provide this help, making it impossible for you to suggest alternatives without seeming heartless. The female psychology here is particularly cunning because it weaponizes compassion. She's not just lying about where she's going, she's making you complicit in what appears to be an act of kindness. If you object, you're not just being suspicious, you're being cruel to someone who's suffering. But here's what might really be happening. Either this friend crisis is completely fabricated, or she's using a real friend's problems as cover for her own secret meeting. She might even meet the friend briefly to establish an alibi, then slip away to meet the other man. Watch for these warning signs. Does she seem more excited than stressed about these friend emergencies? Are these crises always conveniently timed for evenings or weekends? Does she mention friends you've never met or rarely hear about otherwise? Is she vague about specific details of the friend's problems? Here's a crucial test. Offer to help too. Say something like, "That sounds really difficult for Sarah. Should we invite her over for dinner instead?" Or, "I could drive you both somewhere if that would help." A woman who's genuinely helping a friend would appreciate your support. A woman who's lying will quickly explain why your involvement wouldn't work. A faithful woman helping a friend in crisis would share appropriate details about the situation, would appreciate your concern, and might even ask for your advice or support in helping. Excuse 4. I just need some me time. This excuse presents her secret meeting as self-care. Going to the gym, spa day, long walk, shopping trip, yoga class, or just time to think and recharge. It appeals to modern concepts of personal independence and mental health. The psychology here is appealing to your respect for her autonomy and well-being. She's framing her deception as healthy boundary setting and personal maintenance. Questioning me time makes you look clingy and unsupportive of her individual growth. Here's how it typically sounds. I've been feeling really stressed lately, and I just need some time to myself to recharge. I'm going to go to that new yoga studio and then maybe walk around the mall for a bit. I need to clear my head and remember who I am outside of work and home responsibilities. She might even add psychological language. My therapist says I need to prioritize self-care. Or, I've been reading about the importance of personal space in relationships. This makes her excuse sound professionally validated and mentally healthy. The female psychology exploits modern relationship advice that emphasizes individual identity within partnerships. She knows you've probably read articles about giving your partner space and supporting their personal growth. She's weaponizing healthy relationship concepts to hide unhealthy behavior. But here's what's really happening. Her yoga class might be a coffee date with another man. Her shopping trip might include meeting him at the mall, Or her walk to clear her head might be a romantic stroll with someone else. Pay attention to these patterns. Does she seem unusually particular about doing these activities alone? Is she defensive when you offer to join her or suggest alternatives? Does she come back from me time, seeming energized in a way that suggests social interaction rather than solitary reflection? Here's a telling sign. Genuine me time usually leaves people feeling peaceful and relaxed. If she comes back from these solo activities seeming giddy, distracted, or unusually talkative about unrelated topics, she might have spent that time with someone else. A woman who genuinely needs alone time would be clear about what kind of space she needs, would appreciate your understanding, and would come back feeling refreshed and reconnected with you. Excuse 5, I'm visiting family becomes the perfect, almost unquestioned cover story because questioning family time makes you look unsupportive and controlling. She claims to be visiting parents, siblings, cousins, or dealing with family obligations that require her presence. The psychology behind this excuse is exploiting your respect for family relationships and obligations. Most men understand that family comes first and don't want to interfere with important family connections. This excuse feels morally unquestionable. Here's how it sounds. My mum called and really needs me to come over. Dad's been difficult lately, and she just needs someone to talk to. You know how family drama can be. I should probably go spend a few hours with her and help her figure things out. She might also use extended family. My cousin is in town unexpectedly, and we haven't seen each other in years. I want to catch up with her before she leaves tomorrow. Or family obligations. I promised my sister I'd help her with wedding planning today. The female psychology here is particularly effective because family relationships are seen as sacred and non-negotiable. She's counting on your reluctance to call her family members to verify her story, and she knows you don't want to be the husband who prevents his wife from spending time with relatives. But here's the reality. She might be using real family relationships as cover for secret meetings. Maybe she does visit her mother briefly to establish an alibi, then claims she's running errands afterward, but actually meets the other man. Or perhaps these family emergencies are completely fabricated. Watch for these warning signs. Do these family visits happen at convenient times that coincide with when the other man is available? Does she seem unusually dressed up for casual family time? Is she vague about specific family issues or defensive when you ask follow-up questions? Here's a key indicator. Does she invite you to join these family visits? A woman who's genuinely spending time with family would often welcome your company or at least extend the invitation. If she consistently has reasons why you can't or shouldn't come along, that's suspicious. A faithful woman visiting family would share details about family situations, would sometimes invite you along, and would be happy to have you call or text during her visit. Excuse 6, I have errands to run. This is perhaps the most insidious excuse because it blends the affair into everyday life, making it feel completely unnoticeable and routine. She claims to be grocery shopping, going to the pharmacy, getting her car serviced, returning items to stores, or handling various mundane tasks. The psychology here is hiding in plain sight. Errands are so boring and routine that they don't trigger suspicion. Who questions a trip to Target or the grocery store? This excuse works because it's the most mundane explanation possible for leaving the house. Here's how it typically sounds. I need to run to the grocery store and pick up a few things for dinner. I also want to stop by CVS for some prescriptions, and I should return that dress I bought last week. I'll probably be gone for a couple of hours. She might even ask if you need anything. Do we need milk? Should I pick up your dry cleaning while I'm out? This additional consideration makes her seem thoughtful and domestic, further disguising her real intentions. The female psychology exploits the mundane nature of household management. She knows you're probably grateful that she's handling these routine tasks, and you're unlikely to question or want to join her for boring errands. It's the perfect cover because it's simultaneously necessary and uninteresting. But here's what might really be happening. She's using these routine trips as opportunities to meet the other man. Maybe she does go to the grocery store, but meets him in the parking lot first. Or she claims to be running multiple errands to justify being gone for several hours when she's actually spending most of that time with someone else. Pay attention to these patterns. Is she taking longer than usual for simple errands? Does she seem unusually particular about doing these tasks alone when she used to enjoy your company? Is she vague about which stores she's visiting or what she's buying? Here's a crucial tell. Does she come back with the items she claimed to be buying? If she says she's going grocery shopping, but returns with only one small bag after being gone for 3 hours, something doesn't add up. If she claims to be running multiple errands, but seems to have accomplished very little, that's suspicious. A woman who's genuinely running errands would be efficient about it, would appreciate help or company, and would accomplish the tasks she set out to do. Let's recap these 6 deceptive cover stories. It's just a girls' night. I have to stay late at work. I'm going to help a friend. I just need some me time. I'm visiting family, and I have errands to run. These excuses work because they exploit your trust, your respect for her independence, and your desire to be a supportive partner. Each excuse is carefully designed to sound so reasonable that questioning it makes you look controlling, insecure, or unsympathetic. Remember, the key is not to become paranoid about every explanation your partner gives, but to recognize patterns and pay attention when multiple suspicious behaviors align. A faithful woman will be transparent about her activities, will welcome your involvement when appropriate, and won't be defensive about reasonable questions. Trust your instincts, pay attention to patterns, and remember that you have the right to transparency in your own relationship. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for noticing when something doesn't add up.